Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and if you're new, I'm going to show you how to do this olive green halo eye. And starting off with the James Charles mini palette, I'm going to take the shade Social Blade, which is a light green shade, and I'm focusing in on just the inner and outer portion of the eye, and then lightly going over the crease of my eye with a packing brush. Now going in with the Bratz palette, I'm going to take the shade Guac, and I am going to focus that in just on the outer and inner parts of my eye, really creating and building up definition. Going back in with the shade Social Blade, I'm just using a smaller detailing brush to diffuse any of the harsh lines. And then I'm taking a blending brush to create a softer look. And I'm going back in with the detail brush to blur out any lines that still might look harsh. Now going in with the Desert Bouquet palette, I'm using the shades Sweet Sage and Suck on That. And I am adding a little bit more definition with the detailing brush on the outer portion and inner corner of my eye. Now going in with another Bratz palette, I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Trendsetter, and I'm going to focus that in the outer portion and as well as the inner corner of the eye, and only just adding a definition to those two spaces. Now going back in with my blending brush, I'm just diffusing any harsh lines that I might have. Now moving on concealer, I'm lightly tapping with stamp-like motions with my brush to add the concealer to my eyelid, and I'm primarily focusing that just on the middle of my eyelid. And you want to take your time while applying concealer, so that way it's easy to smudge it or to mess it up, especially when you're applying it into the crease area of your eye. So definitely take your time working in that product, especially like in a tornado-like shape. I normally don't do halo eyes. I primarily do cut creases. Just because of the shape of my eyes, I have hooded eyes. So with halo eyes, as beautiful as they are, the look normally doesn't pop compared to when I do cut crease looks. Moving on with some setting powder, I'm just lightly tapping that onto the concealer to prevent any creasing. Going back in with the Bratz palette, I'm using the shade Self-Expression, and I'm putting that right on top of where we put that crease, and that's going to add our pop of color. And applying any wet shimmering shades, it's important to use tapping motions. I'm also applying a liquid eyeshadow to add a little bit more pop of color, and I'm going to go ahead and go back in with that same flat paddle brush, and I'm tapping the eyeshadow in. Now going back into the shade Suck on That, I'm using that dark olive color to apply right on top of the shimmer shades that we had put. And with the small detailing brush, I'm just lightly blending and diffusing out the lines. I'm also taking the same fluffy brush and I'm just blurring out those edges. Now going in with the Magic Mirror eyeshadow palette, I'm taking the shade out of the blue, and that's the darkest shade, and I'm adding depth and definition to the eyelids. And again, I'm just taking that shade and focusing it just on the corners of the eye and just around where we put the concealer. Doing this creates depth to the look. And now I'm taking a fluffy brush and I'm blending out any of the harsh edges. This part unfortunately got a little bit cut off, but I'm just taking a light mint green shade, diffusing any of the lines, but I'm focusing that right on the brow bone. Finally taking the tape off and revealing the look, I'm just adding some dark brown liquid eyeliner to create a wing shape. Now with a flat eyeliner brush, I'm just taking the two dark olive shades that we used before and just applying that on the inner and outer portions of the lower lash line. Going back in with that light green shimmering shade and also using the light green liquid eyeshadow, I'm just focusing that right on the middle of the lash line. I'm also going in with that dark blue and I'm just applying it in the inner and outer portion of my eye, lightly blending it out with the blending brush. Lastly, I'm going to top the look off with some mascara, and we are basically finished with this halo eye. If you've made it this far to the video, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more St. Patrick's Day looks.